Morning, y'all. Happy Saturday. It's Kate at Kate Rambles On, and this is our Saturday video. It's probably a little after 8 something in the morning. I've already been to town, took something to a friend in the hospital, and I'm back home, and I'm not leaving again for the day. So a few things to chat about today. Not much. We'll go take a peek at the veggies. We have been the last week or two in the triple digits, with a heat index of over 110 every single day. That's why everything is getting a drink. It's been so hot, it killed those guys even though they're getting watered all the time. I'm watering twice a day. I've had to, when I leave to go to work, to turn my AC down to the lowest possible setting. Let me switch this sprinkler around. And my fan to the lowest setting, because it's either, if it's not popping my breaker for all my power, which is okay because my fridge and things like that, I've got a nice battery that takes care of that. But there's an internal overload switch that's inside my AC unit that's on the compressor. It's a very small switch, and when it feels like it's working too hard or too hot, it shuts off all power access to until it cools off and it feels it's okay to come back on. So it's done that several times this week. I have bought a tarp. I have a shade cloth. I was going to have my friend who's in the hospital, his nephew, I was going to have him come today and help me string it between these trees to make a shade over my camper, but I'm just mentally and physically exhausted today. It's been a tough week between the heat and working and insurance denying my surgery. Yeah, they refused to cover it. They said I didn't meet the criteria. So I said, what's the criteria? And they gave me this whole long list thing. Well, it turns out that the questions they had or whatever, they couldn't get a hold of the doctor's office. So I better get a hold of the doctor's office, tell them to resubmit it. I'm going to send them the email the insurance said and said, listen, you're the doctor picked by the insurance company. You're also the doctor that said, we've been dealing with this conservatively for 4 months to keep me comfortable. I'm still at a pain level of 6 or 7 all day long, but I can't be on pain meds. I have to work. I can't be off work. So I'm going to let them know that they need to do whatever they need to do, tell the insurance company whatever they've got to tell the insurance company to make sure I meet the criteria and to get this surgery taken care of. I was hoping by this time to have had, to be getting ready to have surgery and be off work these 2 months while it's so freaking hot. So we'll see. And I've let my employer know that your insurance company needs to take care of this, or I will have to get a lawyer. And if I have to get a lawyer, I'm going to get a mean one. And I'm going to get a mean one that'll go for the doctor's office for malpractice, for not doing their part of the bargain. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not litigious. I just want the surgery, my 8 weeks of healing, and then I just want to get back to work, back to life, hello, Mr. B. Great big bumblebee. So anyway, that's kind of the negative that's been in my head and my heart this week, and it's tough. Here's the cucumbers. They've still been producing like champs and sneaking in fat cucumbers that I have to throw away because they sneak in and somehow I'm missing them. Even if I put my glasses on and I look 2 or 3 times a day, somehow one of them's getting away with sneaking in there and getting too big. So the tomatoes are loaded. I've given one of my neighbors some green ones to stick in their windowsill. I've had some fried green ones, and just because if I don't thin them a little bit now, they're all going to be red at the same time, and I can't eat that many that fast. But anyway, I'm giving everything a drink. But you see, my issue is that there's no shade over the top of my camper. Yeah, I don't know. If you look across here, everybody's units, except for my neighbor here, are white. Mine's black. Yeah. It probably makes it even hotter. So anyway, that's kind of been the thing here in Oklahoma. 2 summers in, and I'm just about ready to say I'm moving somewhere warmer. I mean, somewhere that's cooler in the summer. It's my neighbor Josh, but anyway, that's kind of where the garden's at right now. Just trying to keep my wildflowers and the few veggies I got going alive. The green beans are still growing. They're just not making any green beans, but they're all tangled up with the cucumber right now. The peppers are still producing. They're doing pretty well. And of course the tomatoes are becoming little monsters here, getting quite big. Yeah, if I had the energy and the gumption today, I would go ahead and deal with getting that canopy put over the top of my trailer. But I don't think my ladder is going to be tall enough. I may have to get my landlord to come out here with some of his equipment that I think has a cherry picker on it. But I think, because we're going to have to be 4-5 feet above my camper for airflow, we're going to have to be 20 feet up in a tree. So we'll see. If I can get by through the rest of the summer by just keeping my AC down really low. I mean, I come home, it's 70, over 70, pushing 80 in the house. But that's better than the other day when I came home. It was 99 Fahrenheit in my home. And it took a while to cool it off. And when I come home hot and tired and the house is hot, I'm just like instantly pissed off. But anyhow, I'm out here listening and watching the birds. There has been quite the little game of chase and whatever going on over here with the hummingbirds. I'm going to get you a little closer, and I think you might see them buzzing in and out. So there's several females and some younger males, and then there's at least one full-grown male of the ruby-throated hummingbirds. And of course, he's trying to chase everybody away. So let's see up there. I don't know if you can see him fluttering. He's just below that little bulbous part of the canopy. They're just so fast, it's hard to catch them. So that's why there's 2 feeders on opposite sides of the garden, because one cannot guard both feeders. The younger ones will really they'll dine together, but there's one male who's like, "This is my yard, get away, you young whippersnappers." But he can't drink out of 2 feeders at once. So day before yesterday, I cleaned and dumped and refilled their feeders. I'm not filling them full because I'm trying to every other day or every 2 days, especially in this heat, dump them and put fresh water, because it doesn't take long, a couple days of this, triple-digit temps to turn that sugar water to make it ferment, and then you can make the birds sick, and I don't want to do that. So over here on this feeder, we've got, looks like some finches. Let's see. On the right, yeah, we've got a red finch. You can kind of see his little red beard. And on the left, it looks like a sparrow. It might be another type of finch. I know my filming sucks. I gotta look through the camera. Don't look around the camera. I know, I'm so bad about that. But we've had a lot of chickadees this morning. Here's one. They've been fluttering around. And they're cute. Sometimes they'll just sit on the feeder and pig out, but more often than not, these guys come and they'll grab a sunflower seed or whatever seed, and they'll hop up on a branch and they'll hold it between their little toes and they'll peck at it until they get the meat out. Seems like an awful lot of work. But there is seed mixed in there that it's not in the shell. Some peanuts, some safflower, some sunflower seeds, a mix that's got some cherries and some other fruit that's for cardinals and songbirds. And like I said before, I can sit here and talk and it doesn't bother them as long as I sit nice and still. But this morning I came out, the sun had not quite come up, and it wasn't really very loud out here, but I came out here with fresh water and feed, and within a couple minutes they were just like letting everybody know, Kate's up. She's feeding us. And so I've tried to develop a routine so that not like exactly on the dot time-wise, but, you know, before I go to work or, you know, about the same time every day, because I get up at the same time every day. And put fresh water after the night, and fresh feed. And then as soon as I come home from work, regardless of what time of day it is, I mean, it's usually always after about 3, but I come out and I dump the hot water that's in their bird baths and drinking stations and give them fresh, cool water and top off their feed or refill their feeders. And so they're pretty much getting used to my routine. And that's recommended as, you know, the best way to develop a relationship with your wild birds. As much as you can develop a relationship with the wild birds. And I know many of you are like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. So, update on the pumpkin patch. Yeah, look at that. Burned to death by this heat. Okay, the morning glories are... Morning glories, every evening I come in and they're all looking all limp and sad, and I water them. And I doubt that they'll start putting on blooms until we get past this hottest part of the weather. They like a cooler evening. They like, you know, full sun, but I think it's just been too hot. They're putting too much energy in just staying alive, much less make blooms. But it is starting to climb over the trellis. I think this next year I'll put some clematis in and some other things to climb it. But anyway, so I'm going to let my landlord know that if he wants to just mow down for the volunteer pumpkin patch, he's more than welcome to. There's a few runners that are still kind of healthy. Inside this one going up the fence. And then around here on the other side. If you look through here, I'm going to zoom in. You can still see there's some back there. The very back, there's still some healthy looking leaves. But though they've been putting on lots of blooms, male and female, they have not been, nothing's been looking like the beginnings of any kind of fruit. So I'm not real worried about it. I didn't plan on them in the first place. You know, they were just whatever sprouted up from the fall pumpkins that got thrown over there for the critters. So what the critters didn't eat, Mother Nature decided to, let's reseed and grow. But wildflowers are still doing well. I've got a lot of zinnia. I haven't cut any for my little base yet this morning. I've got some growing volunteer over here in the gravel, and also some of the African marigolds. Even in this heat, my poor little cacti and succulents in the portulac have been like, oh my gosh, this is so hot. But yeah, it's been just like a blast furnace, you know. It's hell on earth. And if this trend is going to be that the summers are going to continue to be like this from year to year, I will definitely find a cooler spot. Even if I stay in Oklahoma, if I have to find a place in the mountains down southeast, the coolest place to live in Oklahoma for the summers is Black Mesa because of its elevation. It's way over in the panhandle, no man's land, almost to Colorado. And yeah, there's not a lot going there. I mean, it'd be great, I guess, if you could retire and you don't mind cold winters, which I don't mind winter. I don't mind snow, I don't mind all that. But gosh, I just can't handle this heat. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at with the surgery thing. Got a little boo-boo. Something bit me right under where kind of between where my brace goes. But I don't know if the brace was kind of slipping that day or what, but the brace actually goes over the little bite, and so it's made it very sore. I'm tired of wearing the brace. It makes me unbalanced. It does make me it is a hazard for me going up and down steps. I can't carry as much stuff. That knee is a little bit weaker as it is, so anyway, but yeah, this list of criteria that the insurance is like, oh, before we'll do a partial or this, and I talked to the adjuster. I'm like, this is bullshit. If you didn't get a hold of the doctor's office, why didn't you call them back? Why aren't you guys pursuing them? Why do I have to call the doctor and tell him to resubmit everything and blah, blah, blah? I said, you guys are, not wanting to cover a 1-hour surgery with no hospital stay and only 8 weeks off work. What criteria do you want? Do I need to be more crippled? I cannot afford to have an injury where I'm out of work for a few weeks before I can get into a doctor. And then the doctor has to say I cannot work and I have to be off at least 3 consecutive days under doctor's orders before they'll pay my salary. And, that was just so funny. I think that was a young male or a female. Hit the feeder, and just as they were getting a good drink, got chased off by the big guy. We're back to hummingbirds. I know, I'm all over the place. But I've been kind of lonely. I miss my kitty. The wild birds have become my a bit of a balm to my lonely soul. I like being alone, though. I'm not lonely for people. I don't know. I think being injured and in pain just kind of makes everything, exacerbates everything else, But anyhow, I'm just, okay. I think you can see him fluttering around. Okay. My resident male cardinal is over here now. I've got several younger males who haven't quite come into all their red feathers yet, and a couple of females. And they stay pretty active, but this main guy, I can tell by the black on his wings, it's the same usual one. And oh my goodness, the hummingbirds are just going crazy. They must be very thirsty this morning. I'm trying to catch them at the feeders, but they're so fast. I don't want to move this too fast to make people sick. You can see the fluttering around this feeder. It's like, you guys, I'm filming, so why are you on the opposite side of the feeder where I can't see you? It's like, I'm going to peek around and look at you, but there's about 5 or 6 different ones, and they're all just zooming and zipping around and chasing each other. It's comical and it's cute, and I know it's just Mother Nature, but it's like, I've got a good drink here, no one chase me off. So, I don't know, maybe some of them are being sneaky. It's like, all right. Dave just got chased off by Joe, so let's come over here and drink out this other one while those two are busy having an issue. Right now, the finches and the chickadees are over here arguing over whose turn it is on that feeder. That feeder is just full of black oil sunflower seeds. The smaller feeder over here by the hummingbirds is got a mix of that, plus raw unshelled peanuts, safflower, sunflower kernels, cherries, other delightful little bird favorites. But yeah, that's what I'm doing this morning. The sun's behind me now. It's getting pretty warm. I had the door open because it blocks the sun from hitting me, but it also, makes the house warm. This morning, my painted bunting, male painted bunting, was here having a drink early this morning. A drink and a snack, some breakfast. But yeah, they're just so cute. And they're funny, and they argue and they fuss. And of course, I have a few tufted titmice. It's called a tufted titmouse, and they're a little funny bird. They're a very finicky little bird about what they eat. It'll land on the feeder and it'll pick up and spit out, half a dozen or a dozen seeds, and then it'll fly off with one sunflower seed. I'm like, all that trouble and all the mess you made just for the one seed that I guess was the perfect one that you thought would be the best tasting. But so we're looking at finches here. We had the red house finch, but some of these are finches and sparrows. The one that just landed and you see the wings fluttering, just flew up. That is a female painted bunting, and they're very much shaped like the finches, and around the same size. But typically they're all pretty good about sharing their feeders. None of the squirrels have come to rob anything yet, and so I'm going to sit out here and make sure the birds get a good breakfast. And then I got Mama Squirrel, and I have a feeling she has another set of I don't know what you call baby squirrels. You call them kits? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. But I'm usually, I'm very magnanimous and generous to the females because I know they're feeding babies. But the males, they're just... Okay, here comes the cardinals and more finches. They're filling this tree up. So I'm going to zoom out. You won't be able to see them as well, but you'll be able to see the constant fluttering activity. All right, cardinal's back over there. He's like, hey, I want this big feeder. And here come the monarchs. So I've noticed the monarchs, they are drinking out of all the water dishes, and then they will also drink out of the ant moats on top of the hummingbird feeders. I think that ant moat I need to refill because it evaporates faster. This one on top of this hummingbird feeder over here, and I should probably turn my camera sideways, huh? To get a wide shot, but the chickadees like to drink out of that all the time. And I'm like, ew, it's got like dead bug and drowned ants, and the chickadees are like, flavorful. So anyway, that's where Kate's at. Kate's just kind of in a funk, dealing with her knee and just trying to rest up, and wow. Here's the red finch over here. He's like, oh, come on. You hear them fussing? Quite the breakfast conversation going on between the birds today. But I'm glad they're happy, and I'm glad they're eating, and I'm trying to survive the heat and help these little guys do it too. And I hope any of you who are around the U.S. and even Europe and other places where it is so hot. There's a woodpecker. I don't know what he thinks he's going for there, but he's hanging there on the side. There he is. Oh, he's like, I'm going to check out this feeder, but their suet feeder is empty. I need to put a new suet block in it. It's over here on this tree. The big woodpecker block is still there. And that one has lasted so long because it's also got habanero pepper in it, so to keep the squirrels from just decimating it. But right above it, you see, is where I have usually the little suet feeder. And the downy woodpeckers, all the woodpeckers actually just really love that. So I'm going to replace that so I can enjoy watching them eat. And there's some strange little cavities in these old cedars. So I think a lot of little chickadees and some little birds are, they sleep in there at night and they can get their little bodies in it. But yeah. Some exciting activity at the feeders this morning. I'm kind of becoming a birder. A grumpy old middle-aged birder. Oh. We got 3 different species there having a snack together. We'll just listen to them chat for a bit and then I'll end this video. Wishing you guys the best weekend and a cooler week. And we're in the low, supposed to be in the low to mid 90s today and tomorrow, which is considered a cool front. That's all Fahrenheit, so yeah, it's pretty warm for you guys who are on the Celsius conversion. But yeah, it's been hotter in Hades here, and it makes you miserable. It makes you just want to, curl up in a corner under the air conditioner and die. Yeah. All right, y'all. I love you. Take care. And if I have any good news about my surgery or anything interesting, I'll, of course, let you know. But y'all take care. Love you. Bye.